back. Hopefully it won't be a long video, but get ready for a bit of a train of thought response to the news that appeared recently around Battlefield Season 2. As you could already decipher from the title of this video, Battlefield 6 Season 2 has been delayed, and it was kind of expected because people were already surprised that there's no hype build-up or no updates from the company yet, and the date that it's supposed to be released, it was expected around January 20th, January 27th. So it was very strange to not see any news, any teasers or anything like that, because they were struggling. Apparently, they don't say that straight to our faces, but it's a bit disappointing, especially that there's already division amongst Battlefield players in what Battlefield becomes. Let's talk about the delay. So the Season 1 should be ending around 20th, which is about a week away as I recorded. It's 14th of January. We've got the short update in Steam that I read. So I will give you a couple of lines from it. So obviously they thanked Battlefield community for feedback and support and everything. It was the most successful franchise release. I think it's a paragraph to ease you down or soften the blow when they state about their commitment of providing monthly content, rich updates for players, and that they delivered the packed Season 1 in 2025, including the surprise launch of RedSec, which is kind of true, and the year-ending festive winter offensive event. It was mostly that free week of Battlefield that consisted that winter offensive, which was cool. They deployed several patches, and those two paragraphs about thanking for the community support and feedback, successful launch, and then that they delivered is kind of psychological softening message to make that disappointment a little less felt by the players. They say during our ongoing development, we'll continue to review community feedback, and in order to keep our promise, determine that our best path forward is to extend Season 1. So instead of saying delay, it's again just a wording of saying we screwed and we didn't make it on time. We want to make it functional and we need a little bit of patience on your end. So I think it's fair, but also it's not fair for people that paid full price for the game and they got a lot of promises and now they delay it. And I would be okay with delaying it for a week or two, but the Season 1 extension update to Battlefield 6 and RedSec will be released on January 20th, which will include new weekly challenges, a bonus path, and a continuation of the Season 1 Battle Pass until the start date of Season 2, which is, drumroll please, February 17. That's a full month between now, or almost now, and the Season 2. And again, that date is a little bit of a trick to defend themselves that they didn't delay it by a full month, because February 17 is just a little bit less than a month before they would be accused of delaying the new season by a month. In some way, you might say is a dirty and sneaky marketing play. So yeah, softening the blow with that message, with a big thanks, then, oh, we released that and that and that, and now we decided to make it more valuable or make it extra polished, because this is exactly what wording that they said. During our ongoing development, we've continued to review community feedback, and in order to keep our promise, determine that our best path forward is to extend Season 1 and give ourselves extra time to further polish and refine Season 2. So they released a teaser as well, and the teaser is a couple of seconds long. It's just a green kind of toxic hazard background with a guy in the in a mass. So I suspect that season 2 will consist of sort of biohazard theme or something like this. It's just a speculation, but teaser is pretty straightforward. The only thing they would make it more obvious would be if the guy was in a hazmat suit or something like that. I know it might feel overreacting. I'm not complaining about Battlefield being bad or anything, but if you're thanking people for support, you're making the most successful launch in Battlefield history, and this is the wording that they used, during the most successful launch in Battlefield history. If you do that and then start defending yourself that you have to delay the season, while again they're wording the commitment to providing monthly content-rich updates for players, for our players, and you don't deliver on season 2, it feels a little bit disappointing. But we're not judging, we're just stating, or I am stating, but I think that a lot of players probably share the same feel, that there was no updates, and when the update comes, it's about delay. And a delay that is just below month mark, so they can say that they delayed it by less than a month, or they won't use the month word at all because it wasn't a month. It should be between January 20th and 27th, but we released it on February 17th, so let's say 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They can always spin narrative around that the way they want, to make sure that it's politically correct, that it feels good for the company. It's more about making them feel good than the players. Because if they think that such messaging, manipulative messaging, convinces players, it's a bit disrespectful, thinking that the players don't see through it. They're stupid to believe, or they're silly enough to believe, oh, there's it's necessary, so that's definitely not a delay, you're just polishing the game. You didn't make it ready on time. And where is transparency? Maybe the wording about extra time to further polish and refine season 2 is their way to say, yeah, we effed up, but wait for it. We'll see how it goes. I am hopeful that season 2 is really packed. It will be hard to beat the fact that they released the free tier RedSec Battle Royale thing, and at the same time they did like the Winter Offensive event and everything in season 1, and players are expecting at least a similar impact to the game in season 2, which will be difficult to reach because you can't just release a couple of visual skins and maybe some guns or a vehicle or two and maybe a map or two and expect people, after delaying it by a month, to have the same impact on people, if you know what I mean. It either needs to be massive update that will just blow our minds, or at least be near blowing our minds, or I think it might lead Battlefield 6 slowly down the slope from the most successful launch in Battlefield history to a slow progress towards one of the most floppy franchise games in Battlefield history. Fingers crossed it won't. They have still plenty of time and hopefully 3 or 2 more seasons to prove. I think there is usually 4 seasons, so, or more, sorry. We'll see how it goes. They have a couple of seasons to prove me wrong and some skeptic players wrong. But keep in mind that these things are already happening, no updates. Then the only update that we receive is about delay and some excuses to soften the blow. And now we wait for that February 17th, because I don't think anything about extension will be exciting. It's just an extra tier of battle pass or whatever, which means that if you don't pay, you might get 2-3 free things and nothing else, just a couple of challenges. So it will boost your XP and maybe get you a little bit up. So you train more, you get better at Battlefield. But other than that, that extension adds literally nothing to the whole thing. Those of you that played Battlefield before, and I played Battlefield back in the days, long hours, I think 300 to 400 hours on Battlefield 3, and that was probably the most played of the franchise by myself. And I remember quite vividly and a bit nostalgic about how Battlefield 3 was different from many FPS shooter games in general. It was more realistic, even though there were glitches, like, for example, using drones to elevate snipers to high ground, etc., until it was obviously patched and fixed. But in general, it was probably the most realistic shooter at the time, while still very enjoyable. Battlefield 4 and further franchise games like Battlefield 1 and 5 and then 2042 were continuation, at least until Battlefield 5. It was continuation of that Battlefield uniqueness in terms of sort of realism of how the battle really works. Obviously, it's still a game. You still respawn. There's no respawn once you get killed in a real war. But the fact that Battlefield 2042 started slightly shifting towards some form of Counter-Strike, Call of Duty type of game. Not yet, but it seems like Battlefield 6 shifted a little bit more towards it. Is it bad? It's hard to say. It adds that arcade type of feel to already existing game that is good. And I think Battlefield 6 still holds to a certain point the values of Battlefield franchise, but it's definitely moving towards something else. And it's progressing towards something. That doesn't mean that it's progressing in a positive way, because you can progress towards depression and it's not a progress at all that you would like to go towards. So it's definitely progressing towards something, and we don't know yet what it is. We already know that the company shifted to almost, maybe not pay to play scenario, but we already see big changes like adding RedSec and Battle Royale. It's more like a Fortnite, or I don't know, a couple of other games. I think Overwatch has Battle Royale or something like that. So that model of Battle Royale maybe wasn't something that people were expecting and wanting, but adding it as a free tier to Battlefield 6 to help people to actually play without paying for the game, that was a good move in my opinion. And Battlefield RedSec, or the Battle Royale element with gauntlets, is a nice addition, because it's effectively been something that helped me to step towards buying the actual game, because I wasn't planning playing Battlefield 6 until it gets to the point where all seasons are released, it gets massively discounted, and I can just enjoy it. But because they released RedSec, I downloaded that huge chunk of the game and started playing it. It's very limited, but at least it gives you that trial element to it where you can potentially try the game and see if you want to buy it, which is not the case in many games that you have to pay for to actually experience it. I know some games give you the trials, early access, or things like that, but many games don't. And if you don't buy the game, you don't know what you're buying until you actually pay for it, and you might be disappointed. And in Battlefield case, I think two positive elements are adding the Red Seg as a free tier so people can try and play not the actual game of conquest, rush, and domination, whatever the modes are. It's obviously not a full-scale battle or game, but at least they can see the physics, they can get the visuals and overall feel of the game. And second thing is that even if you're only playing the free tier, occasionally, like for example for Christmas, they unlocked most of the paid Battlefield version for a week. So for a week, Battlefield 6 was basically free to some extent for RedSec or free tier players. And that helped to play a bit, get some progression, a little bit fish you back to the thought of buying the game. Don't get me wrong, it is a sales or marketing approach to hook you up and try to convince you to pay for the game. And I'm fine with that, as long as they deliver certain value and you really can make that educated decision if you want to pay full price or not for the game. So these two elements actually got me through the line to decide almost to buy a Battlefield, because I will explain why almost. I didn't want to pay full price. $59.99 is a hefty price for a game. Don't get me wrong, people who earn by streaming and or by competitive gaming, that's no bother. They earn enough money and they spend enough time to make sense out of purchase like that. But €60 or equivalent in any currency is quite a lot for a single game if you play it occasionally and might actually drop it at some stage and not play at all. So I started searching for some discount by all those websites like G2G or whatever. There are different portals where they provide discounted licenses, and obviously you need to be careful because some of them are regional, so you might find Battlefield for, I don't know, 15-20 euro, and you will purchase it not realizing that you're in the US and it's an EU version or the other way around, and you won't be able to enable it. You need to know also which platform it is provided through, because sometimes the license might only be available for users of, I don't know, let's say Epic Games Launcher or Steam or something like that. And only this way you can redeem it for that particular price. So that's also a thing that I needed to consider when I was researching for a discount. So I was almost ready to pay the full price, but I wanted to shave at least 5-10 euro out of this to get me through the line and make it a kind of Christmas present for myself, because I wasn't buying anything for Christmas for myself. And after playing RedSec and playing that week of free Battlefield, I decided I actually might carve out some of my schedule and start playing it enough to justify the purchase. And in the end, I managed to find the deal for EU version, I think it was EU or global version, for about 45 euros. So about 25% discount. And I think it was also a promo after they finished free access for a week. It was a New Year discount, or Christmas and New Year, or holiday kind of discount. And all the other websites were providing something about from €1 to €4 difference. And it would be cumbersome to go through it, so I decided to actually go through the official channels and just pay basically 45 directly to the company and developers, making it mutual benefits. They got the purchase, they sold the game, and I got the game for not full price, and I was happy about it. There are different versions of the game. You can pay for the extra battle pass thing, and I think there is a phantom edition that gives you some extra cool kits and skins or whatever visuals in the game. It's good that most of the things that you unlock in Battle Pass and those extra expensive game versions is only visuals, or mostly visuals. It's good because players don't feel like they need to pay to play, but those that really care about the visuals or want to have some extra cool stuff, they might want to shave a little bit more money. Well, quite a lot more money, because I think Phantom Edition is about $99.99 or something like that. So it's 30 or so euro more than the actual base game. So that's a lot for just a couple of visuals, in my opinion, but I will leave it to people that can justify it in their own heads. I think it's an individual thing. And if somebody's value is the actual visuals, then it's perfectly justifies for them. So apologies for less optimistic video, but that's my thought. And if you feel like it, let me know the bright sides that I might have not mentioned, or the downsides, things that I might have not caught in this video and in this feedback, and you might be seeing some drawbacks, some more drawbacks from that update than I didn't see. Thank you very much for watching. If you feel like subscribing, subscribe. I'm not pushing anyone or asking for a subscription. If you don't want to, my channel is quite mixed, so it might not suit liking of many people. But hopefully see you in the next video.